City of Port Richey City Council special meeting Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. Stand for pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have roll, please.
Mayor John Merrick Hoover.
Here.
Vice Mayor Linda Rodriguez.
Here.
Councilman David Mueller.
Here.
Councilman Robert Hubbard. Let the record show that Councilman Robert Hubbard is absent from today's meeting. Councilwoman Lisa Burke.
Here.
City Attorney Nancy Meyer.
Here.
City Manager Matthew Koppler.
Here. Thank you. Okay, first up is comments from the general public. We have nobody in the crowd, nobody online, so we'll bring it back to comments for City Manager. Pass it to Mr. Koppler for his comments.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to let you know is we have been accepting applications, resumes for the chief of police position for the city. And as of today, I think there are 26 resumes that I have on my desk. So we're getting a good turnout, and they're not slowing down. So planning on keeping it open until after the first of the year, and then start the process of whittling it down and defining what that process looks like going forward.
Who's weeding that out? You are. So you're going through these 26 applicants.
Eventually, I'm just right now. It's at the
You're just
corner of my
putting them in a
desk.
pile.
Yep.
Got
I'm
it.
just collecting them. But I said they're still coming in. I think today there's like 6 or 7 that came in.
Did we have a close date on when we were accepting them?
You have it right
Yeah.
now, it's open until filled.
To what?
Open until filled. So,
But we could, for example, we could get a top-notch person and just fill it and say, okay, that's it. Just interview one guy and that's it. That's our prerogative, right?
Could do that. I would
No,
recommend that.
no,
but
I
you could.
get that.
Yeah. No, I'm very confident that we're going to have a pretty good pull. I mean,
Perfect.
it's one of the doing this for 37 years. This is probably the best educated pool of police chief applicants I've ever seen.
No, we don't hire them. You do, correct?
Now, did we get a say in this at all?
Usually, no.
Well, pardon me?
I thought I was going to say usually no. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a place. I just haven't figured out what that process looks like. Because, again, I want to have some involvement by staff as well in this. And, I've been looking at different ways other communities have done it across the United States.
Right.
Not a complete review yet, but
Because I know that you have a certain signature authority. I think that's what, 10 grand? Is that right?
That doesn't apply to hires.
yeah, I'm apply
Is that what it is?
for hiring.
No, well,
yeah.
your regular signature authority for PM, it's like 10 grand. But because it's a hiring, that goes around that process.
Well, it's
That's just,
not in that process. Not that process at all. It's under the.
but it
person.
could be.
It's budgeted positions, I think, is probably why it's.
Well, but we have budgeted spends and we have to approve those all the time. How is that any different?
It's a different
because
different
it's
different animal.
differently called out in the
different
charter.
building, let alone
Hiring authority versus purchasing authority.
Well, and that's why we're talking about hiring. I wanted to, at least get that out. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's right.
Just want a point of clarification there.
Yep, no problem. That's all I had.
Okay, any other questions for Matt? Okay, moving on to council business. First up, item number 1, City of Port Richey Ajax Paving Industries contract. I'll pass it to Mr. Koppler for introduction.
As council remembered, we had a conversation at the last meeting regarding spending the rest of the ARPA money. I put at your desk kind of a recap of this. I do want to point out as I'm checking all of the different numbers to make sure I decided to check the number I hadn't checked before, which is the total for the budget, which shows $1,455,000 or $1,454,000. And I noticed that cell did not include the spend from last year. So in reality, in doing what we're going to do with Ajax, it would put us $18,000 above that, so it'd be $1.472 thousand approximately. I really don't have a big big heartburn about that, just to let you know, because again, we're going to control what we spend based on what the actual project will look like in terms of the streets. And there's always that possibility when we come back to you with the streets that there may be a street that we really need to do that puts us over the 450. We may have to amend it and use other money to do that. At this point in time, the goal was to absorb all the money so we don't have the possibility of giving any back. So I don't really have any concerns about that. But I wanted to point that part out on that spreadsheet. Going forward, what we talked about doing was throwing the extra money into paving. So the first item we have here would earmark $450,000 with Ajax paving for streets to be determined very shortly. And I don't know, Val, if you want to go a little bit more into that.
Okay. I know the city clerk was emailed the packets to you earlier today, and I don't know if all of you have had a chance to review it.
Hang on.
It's on.
She did.
I can speak louder. I don't know if all of you received the packets today, because they were only sent online. They were sent to your emails. The city clerk will pull up as much as she can. I'm going to go over and explain the details about this agreement with Ajax Paving. It's extensive because it's a piggyback bid. The packet itself is over 236 pages. But the city attorney had a chance to review the piggyback agreement. It's an agreement with Hillsborough County. The good thing about this particular piggyback is that it not only covers paving, but it covers a wide aspect of different tasks. So in the next it spreads out to 2026. So the good thing about us locking it in now with ARPA, we secure the funds, but then over the next for the life of the contract, we can pick what jobs that we want to go ahead and do. So it's not only tied into paving. If we want to do concrete work, we want to do ditch clearing, we want to do tree removal, we want to do canal cleaning, swale reconstruction, culvert repair, all different types. This particular contract covers all of that. Oh, nice. I was working back and forth with Dave Reed from Ajax. He's one of their senior consultants, and he goes, this will give you a broad scope of work to do over the next couple of years. So it allows the city manager and staff to come up with different projects as opposed to just strictly dealing with paving. So don't get me wrong, paving is covered under it. So if we just want to do roads, we can still do that. But this allows us to repair sidewalks and do a wide variety of other tasks per the bid contract.
That's good. Had the flexibility for sure.
Right. Yeah. So, we pushed to lock that in. As I said, the city attorney had a chance to briefly look it over. We have all the completed documents, to move forward on this, to at least lock in the funds, due by the end of this month. So, if there's any questions, we can go to a particular point of the bid contract or anything like that, or the pricing sheet. I stand for questions.
I guess all those different services are priced in the contract. What they be?
Yes, like if you go to the pricing sheet section of the packet that I sent, and if you can pull
Page 235.
235.
Yeah. All of those different services are covered under this particular contract. So, like I said, they even have a segment there for litter removal. If I wanted to hire them to go up and down US 19 and pick up litter, it's there. If they're going to replace pipes, culvert pipes and whatnot, it's there. They want to do concrete work, which actually helps not only sidewalks, but if that was to do concrete repair for utility main breaks or anything else, that is there. Canal ditch clearing, we can reach, if we need to clear out stormwater swales and whatnot, that is covered in this contract. So this pricing sheet pretty much covers all of the aspects. So it gives us a wider range of things that we can do over the next couple of years. And with the renewal of this, which they just renewed with Hillsborough County, it's good to 2026.
Very good.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Motion to approve.
You need a motion?
Yep.
Motion to approve the Ajax?
I got a motion from Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I apologize.
You second.
Yeah,
Okay. Motion second. Any further discussion? Anyone public like to speak? Seeing no hands, I'll bring back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, item number 2, City Hall parking lot ceiling. I pass it to Mr. Copley for introduction.
Yeah, so the other item we wanted to put on there involves sealing the current parking lot here at City Hall. As if you haven't noticed, there are some upcoming issues with that we believe by sealing it will make it last a little bit longer before we have to do a complete repaving of the parking lot. And I don't know, Sal, if you could add to
Yes,
that.
actually, the city manager brought this topic up to me a few months back. We walked the parking lot and examined it. There are some issues that we want to at least preserve the parking lot before considering having to mill and repave it. I mean, and pour new asphalt on it. Sealing is it's less inexpensive and will buy us more time. Parking lot is coming on 26 years old, so actually redoing it in the future is going to have to be something considered. But at this time, it's not we don't have any large potholes or anything like that. There's going to be some repair work that Public Works will do before we seal the parking lot. We noticed some root intrusion in some of the parking spots, and especially close to some of the drains in the parking lot that they're going to go ahead and cut out and then put some new asphalt in, and then we'll have the parking lot sealed afterwards. This also includes going ahead and remarking the entire parking lot after they're done. This covers all of City Hall and the police department. So basically we'll do the entire, everything that's basically blacktop. With the vendors, I discussed with all of them at the time that we'll have to coordinate with the police department as far as availability. So we'll have to just probably either do this in sections or how we're there. But I told them that they're going to be there 24/7, so we'll have to work out that schedule. The bidder that I chose is not the lowest bid, but that is only because they provide for I think it's like a $900 difference. They provide a warranty for a year on the material that they're using. None of the other vendors did not, and the lowest vendor did not provide a warranty. So it was my recommendation for the difference of $900 was to go with the vendor that provided a warranty for the sealant. So I stand for questions.
So the recommendation is to go with Gulf Coast Seal Coat for $11,902.14.
Yes.
Move to approve the parking lot sealing company, which I don't have in front of me.
Second.
It's Gulf
It's okay.
Coast Seal Coat.
Gulf Coast Seal Coat.
I have a motion and a second. Okay. Any further discussion? Anyone public like comment? See no hands, I bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's all council business. Next up is comments from the mayor and city council. I'll start my right with Councilman Mueller.
I'm good.
Vice Mayor Rodriguez.
Merry Christmas.
Councilwoman Burke.
Good.
Okay, I do have a couple things. I had reached out to Mike Wells in some of the conversations about substantial damage. We had talked about potential remedies. One would be to get an independent appraisal to raise the value. It was kind of under the assumption that that would affect the property taxes, and I want to say I'd heard that from possibly FEMA representatives, but anyway, that information seems to be incorrect, so I wanted to set the record straight on that. So I reached out to Mike Wells specifically on that ask about if an individual that finds himself in a substantial damage situation, if they get an independent appraisal to adjust that value, if there's any tax valuation implications. And he wrote back to me and said, "Good morning, John. This has become a common question for impacted residents, and we encourage you to share the information below. Will my assessed value and taxes increase if I get an independent appraisal to submit to my building department?" The answer: in most cases, these appraisal reports do not make it to our office. If by chance they do, our office will take into consideration quality and condition noted in the report, not the value estimate, since the purpose and intended use of these appraisals is very different than that of our valuations. However, if physical changes were discovered, we would be obligated to review these improvements in the scope of our appraisal. Those with a homestead exemption have assessed value protection by virtue of the Save Our Homes cap. which would not affect their cap value as long as no physical changes or additional square footage has been added and no sub areas have been changed. For example, garage converted to living space. Second question, will my property's assessed value increase if I repair or rebuild my home after hurricane flood damage? And the answer, no. As long as the repaired or rebuilt home does not exceed 110% of the structure's original square footage. Under Florida law, if a property is damaged or destroyed by misfortune or calamity after the damage or destruction occurs, the property owner may continue the homestead exemption. The calamity provision in Florida law protects property owners from an increase in their assessed value following catastrophe when repairing, rebuilding their property up to 110% of their original square footage. The owner must notify the property appraiser that they intend to repair or rebuild the property and use the property as a primary residence following the completion of repairs. Sincerely, Mike Wells, Pasco County Property Appraiser. So hopefully that brings some clarity to that issue. The other thing I had, real quick, obviously we've got vacancies on our boards committees, and the Citizens Advisory Committee especially may not even have quorum at this point, but if it does, it's at bare minimum. So I do have a couple people that have sent in to the city to be considered. One was Chris Mayhair. He's also on the Board of Adjustment, and he would like to be considered for the Citizens Advisory Committee.
Sorry.
Oh, was that echo? So, and then I have another one from Matt Douglas. He would like to be a part of the Citizens Advisory Committee as well as an alternate to the Planning and Zoning Board. So if you guys are interested in action,
I think the next citizens, so that way we can actually have
Yep. Okay. Testing. Sure.
Try again.
Test.
Goes with the drone spray, right?
Have to keep on,
Yeah, feedback. Oh, there it goes.
There we go. Should be okay.
Okay. Testing 1, 2. Okay, fingers crossed. So if there's any interest in action, that we can take these up one time. If you want to look for a motion for Chris Mayer for the Citizens Advisory Committee.
If I may first, since this is a special meeting, to consider anything that's not on the agenda, you need a consensus.
Oh,
To put it on the agenda, and then you can address it.
Okay, so if there's any interest in amending the agenda to take up some board committee requests, look for a motion for that.
Make a motion to consider board requests.
So amend the agenda.
Amend the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion second. Is there any discussion? Anyone public got comment? See no hands, bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. So now if there's interest in adding Chris Mayer to the Citizens Advisory Committee, I look for a motion.
Make a motion to add Chris Mayer to Citizens Advisory Committee. Second.
Okay, motion second. Any further discussion? Anyone public like comment? See no hands, bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then I have another one, Matt Douglas. He's wanting both the Planning and Zoning alternate as well as Citizens Advisory Committee. So we'll look for a motion for the Citizens Advisory Committee for Matt Douglas.
I make a motion to add Matt Douglas, Citizens Advisory Committee, and the alternate for Planning and Zoning.
Can you do them at the same time?
You can. I need to go back to the other gentleman. Did you say he was on Board of Adjustment?
Yes.
He can't be on anything else, I don't think. I'm going to double check.
Committees.
Are you sure? Because
One
Board
board.
of Adjustment
Yeah.
is specific to.
Well, for instance, like Lori is on Planning and Zoning and Citizens Advisory Committee. So yeah,
Well, that's
committees.
different. It was Board of Adjustment was something specific. Go ahead
Oh,
and finish this
okay.
one, and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
It just popped in my head.
Is it okay to
That's
do
fine.
it together? Okay, so I have a motion for both the Citizens Advisory Committee and alternate Planning and Zoning for Matt Douglas. Is there a motion second? Any further discussion? Anyone public got comment? See no hands, I bring it back for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
1 second.
Sure.
If you're on the Board of Adjustment, you cannot hold any other appointed position.
Oh, okay.
It came up before when Pat Rogers wanted to be on the Centennial, and that's when it came
Oh,
to
okay.
our attention.
realize
So
that.
whoever the first one was, he cannot,
Okay,
unless
so
he wants to get off Board of Adjustment.
do we have to?
Just go back and revisit that. And
Okay, so I need to remove the motion?
Yeah.
Rescind the
I'm gonna
motion?
withdraw my motion to add
Chris Meyer.
Chris Meyer to the Citizens Advisory Council due to him being on the Board of Adjustment.
Okay. And so, do we vote too? Okay. So, motion rescind, second.
Well, not a vote, but a motion to rescind, and then this. No, since you voted yes, second to rescind, and everyone agreeing that's being rescinded.
Okay. So, got a motion and a second to rescind. Any further discussion? Any public comment? So you don't have to bring it back for a vote again. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion
So
carries.
if you'd like to withdraw from Board of Adjustment, he can join
Gotcha.
Stacy.
I did not
Board of
realize that
Adjustment
was-
hasn't met since I've been here, so maybe he might want to reconsider.
That's interesting.
Let me ask you a
And I
question.
don't know why that's in your,
Well, we're gonna have a charter review right after this. So
We're addressing charter,
Yep.
so we could effectively address it there
yes,
if that's an issue. I don't know.
yes,
yeah.
You can-
Right now, we can't.
And then revisit.
yes.
Well-
And if you, yeah, so,
It wouldn't be effective till the charter's voted on.
right,
Right.
yeah. It'll take a little while.
Okay. And that is all I have. Any, there's no old business on here, but if there's any old business we want to talk about, then,
Adjourn.
motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. We adjourn.
Give me a couple minutes. 'cause I'm
Yeah,
trying
take-